Nope. Nope. And no. Now that's better. I do believe we are go for launch. These slightly horrifying little things are Ancho Chilis, dried Ancho Chilis. And as you can see from the thermometer there, they are not hot. In fact, they're not hot at all. They're kind of sweet a little bit. So you're going to want to take a couple of these and soak them for a while. So I like to pop out the centerpiece so that you can get water on the inside as well. And once you've got that, you can dunk them in some sort of receptacle for water. Never get away from my compressor. Why is that the hardest thing to remember to turn off? Put a couple in there and let them soak for an hour. You know, I can't quite put my finger on it, but something about this reminds me of Biology 250. I'd say Kinozoa holothuroidea. Sea cucumber. I feel like I've choked down more than my fair share of really terrible veggie burgers over the years. Some are of my own devising, that is true. But the worst ones are the ones you pay for, either at a store or in a restaurant. And that's a really terrible feeling to get one of those really crappy, mushy, flavorless, God knows what's in it burgers. And, you know, you charge like $8-10 for it. This will not be that. The sucky thing is, when you go to a restaurant and you order a veggie burger, well, if you order pretty much anything vegetarian, they just treat you like you've got a curse. They don't want to have anything to do with you. Let's give you some Soylent Green and get you the hell out. Since vegetarians are only 1% of the population, restaurants can basically tell you to go fuck your hat and they won't lose any business. In fact, if word got out, they'd probably end up with more business. So the only way we're going to beat those odds is if more of you meat eaters stop eating meat or start eating vegetarian. One or the other, or both. Of course, now we have the Beyond Beef burger. No, what is that? Yeah, Beyond Beef or the Impossible burger. I don't know if they're probably not the same thing. If you decide to go vegetarian, one of the first things you're going to notice is that meat will smell terrible. The second thing you'll notice is that the texture of meat doesn't really do anything for you anymore either. So I can see that Beyond Beef burger being good if you're just starting out vegetarian. The long-term vegetarian probably is going to avoid them. That's my feeling anyway. We've got onions, rice, and black beans in the bowl. Let's go ahead and throw in some flavor. I haven't tried this yet, but I've been meaning to swap out some of the rice for oats, which I think would change the texture slightly and might be a good thing. Now I will admit, bacon does still smell good for some reason, but I think that's not because of the meat. I think it's because of the seasoning in it. Okay, caution with the chili powder. Use your judgment based on how hot you think your chili powder is, as always. Asiago cheese. Stinky and good. Those Beyond Beef burgers have coconut oil in them, which is pretty damn clever because coconut oil is a solid at room temperature, but add just a little bit of heat and it starts to melt. So what happens when you throw those in a pan or on the grill is they start to leach out that oil. Self-lubricating, right? So that's pretty smart. I'm gonna have to try that with these burgers at some point. All right, remember our holothuroideas? These are pretty close. A little over an hour. You don't want the seeds, really. Whoop, still haven't turned off the damn compressor. What the? I don't know why. Why can't I remember to do that? Alright. So you just want to chop it up, you know, into chunks. In it goes. Now, this is not vegan. This is vegetarian, so eggs okay. You can omit them, but I don't know what to do. If you omit them, you're on your own, so. Did I get it? Yeah. This is bread flour. I use that because it's higher in gluten, but just go ahead and use all-purpose if that's all you've got. You might want to add a little bit more. This is a 1/4 cup, and we're gonna raise that up if it's necessary. Kind of do it by feel at the end. Panko crumbs. This is just to absorb. This is just to absorb some of that moisture. 1/2 cup to start. Again, we can raise this up if the texture isn't right. Now, here's the thing. You have to start this at least a couple hours before you want to use it. More if you can. I would say up to 3 or 4 hours is fine. We're going to put this in the fridge. We're going to leave it open. Don't cover it because you want moisture to escape out of here if there's any in there. The texture of this is going to change when it's in the fridge. You'll notice that as it starts to absorb some of that moisture and egg. Now, what do we got? We got egg and flour in here, so essentially this is a pasta base. I think that's kind of interesting. That's basically the same kind of thing you make pasta of. It's egg and flour and that's it. So it's into the fridge for at least a couple hours. All right, 2 hours later, and it's been marinating in its own juices, and you'll be able to tell when you squeeze into this that it's definitely not the same. Okay, this is a little gross, I get that. But you want to break up some of them beans if you can. Now maybe you can't. No, you can. Just break up a few of them as you're doing this, hopefully. It really does get it mixed in though. And I can tell already this is too wet. So we shall add some flour. And we may be closer to a 1/2 cup of flour here. But it's better to err on the side of caution rather than making something that's too gummy. All right, so you can see it's starting to come together, like stick together. That's what we want. I'm gonna put a little bit of breadcrumb in, just to make it a little less sticky. All right, now there's another test to find out whether we're okay here. Okay, here's what I would say. What you're looking for is for it to be gooey in between when you pull it apart like that. That gooiness is what's going to hold the whole thing together once you grill it. So you gotta have that. If it just kind of falls apart on you, just like flakes off, then you should add some more flour to it. Anyway, form it into patties and put them on a plate. When your hands start getting really sticky, go wash them off because it's going to make it difficult to form the patties. So what did this make? 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, no, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 of them. Now to grill these things, you're going to need olive oil and a little funny brush. These are called Brussels sprouts. You might remember them from choking them down at Grandma's house after she boiled them. Well, there is a way to make these bloody delicious. Now, of course, you could do these in the oven at 425, but these are going on the barbecue. Something tells me you want to give the kawaii cabbage a 10-minute head start or so. We'll see if that's right. Thermometer says 400 degrees. All right, let's get on with the burgers. I find it's a good idea just to put a little oil on the grill. pre-slick it up. You want to coat the hat, just coat it, like, don't be shy. Lots of olive oil. Don't worry if they start to fall apart on you, it's alright. You can just pat them back together. They'll be good. It's a bit messy, but eh. Now you're going to be tempted to peek at these, but that's kind of like Frodo putting on the ring, because you're not going to like what you see, and it's going to ruin everything later. So you got to let them cook. One thing you can do is give them a little tap. If they start to slide like that one is, you know you're getting close. But these are kind of mushy yet. You can see they flex up. But it's okay to give them a little nudge, see what happens. But you only get one flip, so don't waste it. Now these are doing pretty good, but because there's no above heat, you might want to flip them halfway through. Okay, I know my front burner is not as good as the back, so I know these are done and these are not. And, well, actually, maybe these are all stiffened up too, yeah. So they get stiff. They don't, like when you pull up on them, they retain their shape. So now you want to just slather on the olive oil. Not bad. These actually could have gone a little bit longer on that side, but that's alright. Now the great thing about these burgers is burning, that burn does not taste bad. So these are actually looking pretty damn good actually. These are a little underdone, these two, but that's okay. So just for the record, that was about 10 minutes into the cooking process, and I opened it up a couple times in between, so take that in consideration. Side 2 is not going to take nearly as long, so keep an eye on them. If they look done, pull them off. There you have it. Nothing to it, man. Oh, that's some good char. Finish them with a bit of butter. These are seriously delicious. There you go. Fast, easy, cheap, delicious. What more do you want? Now the great thing is you can use this basic same recipe, throw in different things, try chickpeas, try cauliflower, try whatever. That's some good eating. Thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone. Somebody seriously needs to explain to me why Cadbury hoard out their name to Hershey chocolate. This is Cadbury in America. It's made by Hershey. It is holy garbage. Hershey chocolate is basically just brown candle wax. Sad, sad, sad. Oh well. Thanks for nothing, Cadbury.